A city of glitz and glamour, Hollywood, and the trophy that leaves everyone green with envy. Club León of Mexico, LAFC of the United States, matching up in the 2023 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League final from Southern California in the United States. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand, all the dignitaries are out. Of course, stars and star power is what Los Angeles is most known to export to the world. Today, it'll export a new champion in CONCACAF Champions League. As the trophy is carried out, and a look at the bracket and how we got here. It is LAFC returning home after falling in the opening leg on Wednesday night to León, 2-1. And with away goals not carrying additional weight today, all LAFC has to do is win to send this to potential penalties. By multiple goals, they could win outright. For León, a win or a draw, surely enough. Joined by Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand. A look back at the first leg highlights at the new camp, the Estadio León, with the lights overhead. It was certainly a match that LAFC felt they played poorly. León felt like they got the right opening punch with Tecillo's goal and then Mena as well.
Shades of 2020 all over again in the round of 16 matchup that saw León come out swinging, and they were the better team in that match as well. LAFC really had to find a way to get back into this match because it was anemic on the attacking end. The way that Larcamón started to tweak this attacking unit going forward, amazing. They spread the field wide. There was a ton of energy within the group, and yet, at the tail end of things, guess who once again? Denny Bouanga in the 96th to salvage one goal coming into this second leg.
So it is the typical pyrotechnic experience that you get here for the Champions League final. Last year it was in Seattle in front of a record CONCACAF Champions League crowd. Be aware that the future of Champions League will look very different. Battles for greatness will carry on, but it'll have just a little different appearance. And so this year, it's a spectacular occasion in Los Angeles as these two sides prepare to meet, with León leading LAFC 2-1. A 4-minute-long show pregame to entertain the fans. About 22,300 can fit here at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, with an epic, festive, fun soundtrack mixing the feeling of rivalry and passion between these two clubs. It'll integrate the famous chants of both clubs. It's mixed almost as a battle, but one of passion for León and LAFC, with 14 professional dancers taking part right behind that trophy on the field. Dev, you and I have had a chance now to be at a few of these finals, and fans that see it for the first time in person, or perhaps are watching somewhere around the world, can understand why there's so much pomp and circumstance to the occasion.
How many times have we seen it, and yet we're still like little kids. We're enamored, right? The opportunity to witness this firsthand, and again, remember, to witness history as well, because this competition has not been kind to MLS squads. Whether it be in the final, whether it be just against a Liga MX squad in general, it has been ruled by the noisy neighbors for the South when you look at it from an MLS perspective. And yet, Liga MX looks at it from a totally different way, right? The little brother that is trying to come back in. We saw Seattle Sounders do it last year. No team from MLS has ever made it to 2 finals. LAFC wants a little bit of revenge from 2020. Even though most of these players try and tell you it's a different group, I promise you that is not the conversation in the locker room.
Revenge is an intriguing commentary in this, of course, because 2020 brings a feeling for revenge on both sides. If you're León, you led 2-0 at the new camp, and you assumed that by the time you would get to Los Angeles, it'd be done and dusted, handle your business, move on. Carlos Vela, of course, had different ideas, scored 2 goals. LAFC a 3-0 win. They move on, advance all the way to the final. So for León, can they possibly overcome this LAFC-sized hurdle? Well, all the while for LAFC, it was in the bubble in Orlando against Tigres, the late goal from Hugo Ayala. Before that, It was Andre Pierre-Gignac that undid an early LAFC lead, and at the time, it was still MLS unable to get past the aforementioned noisy neighbors to the south. So revenge is kind of twofold in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, but it still sits there, and I promise you, whether you were a part of that or not, the teams share that history. And interesting, the different backgrounds that these two squads have coming in. Domestically for LAFC within MLS play, bunch of pundits and the white noise trying to crown this team as one of the better MLS teams all time, and yet their manager referencing the fact that they still haven't done anything this year. He yet says, yes, we won the Supporters Shield, we won MLS Cup, but that was in 2022. 2023, a very different beast. Couple of games in hand, but still one of the better teams in MLS. León, not the case, sitting 6th in Liga MX, trying to find some momentum within their respective league, and yet they prove that LAFC is in fact fallible. The question is, can you now do it on the road in the second leg once again?
A remarkable barrage of fireworks and flames here on the field at BMO Stadium. This is just a 6-year-old franchise. And from the very beginning, it was clear we want to be a global club at a different standard than Major League Soccer had previously experienced. It was Bob Bradley, the former U.S. national team manager, who took them most of the way, got them their first trophy. But it's under Steve Cherundolo and this remade LAFC side that it's felt just a little more pronounced. Perhaps it's notable that the banners that hang above the stadium on this occasion, the wind have actually whipped them up so that you can't see their past accomplishments. After all, this is two franchises that have made clear today is the most important game in their club's history.
What does it matter to look back when all that matters is right in front of you in the next 90 minutes? And take that perspective. If you're León, you know that you went out and got the job done for that first leg. If you're LAFC, you can almost look at it as this. It's a two-legged affair. We're at halftime. You have an opportunity to come home in front of your own fans and make amends for what did not go right a week's time ago.
Onto the field, they arrive. Carlos Vela and William Tecile, the captains, leading their men. The Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League is shrouded in intrigue. León lead LAFC 2-1, but LAFC get the all-important second leg on their home ground. They'll play the Concacaf Champions League anthem. We'll meet the lineups, and we'll kick off the decisive 90 minutes in Los Angeles. Allow yourself for just a moment to be swept up in the occasion. CONCACAF Champions League, with it a ticket to the FIFA Club World Cup on the line. A 1-goal differential, León ahead, and this is the lineup that Steve Cherundolo has assembled. Devin, they've made 5 changes from the first leg and a change in shape.
Well, that's the biggest thing here, right, is you can change personnel, but the fact that tactically you're chasing this a little bit. They were blown away in that first 90 minutes, but all of a sudden you have 3 strong center backs, and you still have Denny Bouanga up top, who's contributed to 60% of goals for LAFC.
And yes, Giorgio Chiellini will play for just the 3rd time in Champions League this year, the 38-year-old Italian who's accomplished so much in Champions League on other continents. Now in CONCACAF, he tries to leave the ultimate mark. They've rolled up the banners. They're off to storage. The referee is from El Salvador. It's Ivan Barton. This is his 3rd game of this tournament. He oversaw the Champions League final first leg last year that saw Seattle and Pumas finish 2-2 with some controversial VAR-affected penalty decisions. He also oversaw León's 3-2 Leagues Cup final win over Seattle in 2021. Meanwhile, the VAR room is led by Costa Rican referee Ricardo Montero. He's in charge of the VAR room for a second consecutive year, assisted by Said Martinez. A look at the lineup for Nicolas Larcamón. They have made 2 changes. Diorio comes in, and Moreno is entirely out of the 18 tonight.
And the front's a little weird, right? But with Diorio, the difference here is you've got a guy who can drop into the pocket and also extend things out on that left-hand wing. When you look down within the back line, you're fine there centrally. Romero and Embriz couldn't be further apart from each other in terms of their careers, 29 and 20, but such an incredible pairing that has allowed this team to have so much success moving back to front.
The Tifo, finish him. Steve Cherundolo has been quite clear. He is 100% positive that his LAFC side will give a better account of themselves here tonight. All the while, Nicolas Larcamón seeks to be the 5th Argentine manager to win the title. The last was Matias Almeida, just 38 years old in his first year at the helm. John McCarthy, what a starring role he's managed to take on since Maxime Crépeau was injured midway through MLS Cup, while Rodolfo Cota, the tender age of 35, seeks to win his 3rd Concacaf Champions League title. Ivan Barton holds the whistle. These 2 sides hold their fate in their hands. The countdown is on. The 2023 CONCACAF Champions League final is underway. LAFC trail Club León returning to BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. Murillo arrives. He returns from a yellow card accumulation suspension. Bouanga fell down. Well, the smoke will clear eventually. Back from Frias to Cota. Upfield from Acosta. He returns from injury, the U.S. international. Away from Mena. If you're LAFC, they've made a drastic change in formation. Not sure we've seen Steve Cherundolo ever trot out a 3 to start a game, Deb. How do you know it's working for LAFC early in the game?
It's just about possession. That's the main thing. Because in order for them to have success, they have to be on the ball. Now, certainly, they can move in transition better than anybody within this tournament. But they have to be on the ball and make sure that the other team is chasing. We did not see that in the opening leg down in León. Now, the other question is going to be, what does this attacking unit look like with Bogusz into it? Do you flatten out the midfield and go into a 4? That allows him to pop in and out, create a 5-man midfield, but also jump onto that front line next to Denny Bouanga and Carlos Vela.
Dr. Dre is in the house. You saw the star of Ted Lasso, one of many. Coach Beard helped to bring the trophy out. Approaching the final third, Palacios rolls it across. Vela will pick it up. Cota couldn't keep it out. Ball across, header speared back and away from Bogusz, seeking Bouanga. Picked back up by Murillo. And León will try and settle, all the while an injured player in midfield and a foul from Aaron Long.
When's the last time you saw Denny Bouanga miss a sitter just outside the top of the 6? There's that little pop out that I talked about. Bogusz coming back over. Great overlapping run by Palacios, who sticks this thing exactly where it needs to go. On the backside of things, Denny Bouanga just lacking a little bit of the class that we've become so accustomed to seeing.
Ball driven ahead here for Diorio. He was thrust down, Chiellini and Long combining. Upfield here, Bogusz. He's free, León recover. for Long. Just a couple of years removed from an Achilles injury. Quite the piece to acquire defensively for LAFC. Vela toward Mena, Long, Palacios, Mena. Barton setting a very early tone in this final. Costa and Mena disperse. Goes back to Mena. Side from Moreno. Held up by Davila. The 3252, that's the official capacity. It looks like 4,000 to me.
It's a little bit more than that, isn't it? How incredible. The culture, everything that they've been able to create here in Los Angeles, really from day one. Fully embraced the community. It's been reciprocated. It's really hard to look nationwide within MLS and find anything better. Many will try.
Perhaps the numbers are greater, but the León fans have arrived in mass as well, as we saw last year in Seattle with Pumas. They filled a couple of sections.
I was just about to say to you which one you think is better, because let's be fair to the home squad. How come they always have to stick them up in the corner away from everybody?
I think that's for everybody's benefit. Carlos Vela, who was booed vociferously at Estadio León on Wednesday night. Murillo's going to take this down the line for LAFC. And continues to attack. Vela rolled across, nearly found Bogusz. Can Carlos Vela be more impactful here in the second leg?
But you just have to watch the movement on the front line too, because of the fact that they are keeping Bogusz up on that left-hand side. It puts more of an emphasis on Vela in one-on-one situations because the midfield has flattened out. So you'll watch him track. He's going to search and come down underneath into the pocket to try and get on the ball and find link-up play. Regardless of where possession is, they've got to find a way to keep him in it. They know that. But already, even though we're just 7 minutes into this match, you can see him trying to search, trying to find a way to be more impactful.
That's Palencia who goes down. He picked up an apparent knock warming up, but was able to continue. Chiellini. McCarthy. LAFC's not even in the tie, if not for the young goalkeeper. Perhaps young in experience. Escapes McCarthy. Most saves in the tournament, Dev, and had to take out his hometown team, Philadelphia Union, in the semifinal.
Pretty impressive what he's been able to do in goals since Maxime Crépeau went down in MLS Cup final. 22. So the rest of that addition out with the penalties, as you mentioned, becomes the savior. All of a sudden, Sharpie into the lineup this season. We have a few on LAFC who can really lay claim to that.
Pushed on by Tassil. Valencia. shuffling through. He'll recover. Acosta, long. It's a center back in the final third for Palacios. Wonga. Ilie snaps down. And upfield for Diorio, who's on an island. Murillo snapping the other direction. Chiellini. Costa kept it. Magush goes down. Foul by Mena. Free kick for LAFC. Where's Vela looking?
He'd love to be looking down the tunnel right now at a trophy and a winner's medal. Well, a fair bit of distance away from that.
Vela serves, header is wide of the post. And the best chance for LAFC to try and make up the distance they need. Aaron Long and Murillo both in striking distance.
With all the players coming off the back line, how do you miss Aaron Long? But defensively, the back post run, just trailing. Frias trying to come in late on it. I think the same argument for Romero. It does shield his vision just a little bit, Aaron Long. So to whip his head around that, like, it's good enough to make contact and he's got pace on it. But to then get it down, get it into the bottom corner, it's a difficult task from that distance.
Valencia knocks it wide. Vela. Snuck it out to Long. All-time in Champions League, just 3 wins, 9 losses, 5 draws on the road. From Mena. Palacios, way by Diorio. You'd argue it was a bit surprising that León made that change up front. Have you seen it play out the way perhaps they anticipated?
No, and the problem is defensively they're scrambling a little bit right now. You know, from an attacking standpoint, the idea with Diorio is to allow yourself more space and time. He's got more speed, but more importantly, balls like this, he can hold up in the pocket, he can push yourself moving forward. You didn't get that when you go with someone like Alvarado. He's more so the point man that's going to stay up top and help stretch you. So he doesn't give you the same looks in terms of versatility that you get from Diorio. But within that argument, they started in a 4. They've pinned back this León squad really deep. So it's easier in possession to go vertically. The problem is LAFC having a little bit of trouble stretching the field in the width as regularly as they want. Ball's on the far side right now. Got to hit it cleaner. Instead, 3-4 touches, and then they're turning it over, or a tackle, stoppage of play, and León's able to reset.
Dylan Breeze, the tackle, and Steven Barrero really incensed with Ivan Barton after the fact. Vela feigns toward the 32-52. Vela, that's easy for Adolfo Cota. Off by Romero. Ilie. Kept it from Davila. For Buwanga. Soars upward. Mena, the oldest goal scorer to tally in a final in Concacaf in the Champions League era. He passed Andre Pierre-Gignac with a penalty in the first leg. Right now, that's the difference. Taylor Davila. Approaching a quarter hour, 13 of 14 champions in the Champions League era in Concacaf from Mexico. It was Seattle that hoisted the trophy last year in the Emerald City. Now it's an Emerald team hoping to cover the trophy for their nation. Across the halfway line, Barrero takes space, no doubt. Mena. Feels like the story of León's night. Breeze. Victor Davila. Davila through. Pushed out by Diego Palacios. First corner of the match belongs to León.
Man, Palacios has been incredible this year, though. So good for LAFC at this left back spot. And even though you bump him into a higher position, his speed allows him to be even more executionary in the two-way play. Recognizes the ball back through. Just that explosion to get in behind. Moreno Mena having trouble linking up together, but well read by Palacios to track back and throw it off the attack.
Palacios being the 2020 young player of the tournament. On the helm, Mena. McCarthy had a beat on it. Away goals do count for more until the final. As such, LAFC could send this to penalties with any one-goal victory. Win or a draw, certainly enough to see León carry the trophy back to Mexico tonight. Long for Buonga. Forward Davila. It's a late whistle, but Murillo commits the foul.
That's a little bit of a gift too, to be fair. I mean, there's contact. The problem is if you don't reach your arm out here, you're going to get away with it. And that's not really the main point of issue that you have here, because the contact actually occurs before that. But once the hand comes away from the body, Murillo, right in front of the assistant referee, always going to get himself into trouble.
Mena in the Apertura and the Clausura, 3 goals, 4 assists. Champions League alone, 3 goals, 3 assists. Mena offers. McCarthy ranges over for LAFC. Forward from Palacios. Magush. Vela. The referee is gesturing to Barrero to get up. And now he's telling everyone to step away from him. It's a yellow to Palacios. Feels like more for the confrontation than the contact.
I mean, there's just after the fact running your mouth, talking yourself into it as well. Credit to the referee, though, right there the entire time, recognizing the fact that there is no point of contact, is there?
Any for his thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible, this building, by the way, as you work through some of these motions. And Chiellini reminds him that there's a little bit more to what's going on in front of him. 103 separate times an opponent has walked into this building. Only 14 times have they come out the victors. Now, let's be clear, León sitting on the 2-1. Obviously, they've got the advantage. That gives you an idea. 86.5% of the time, LAFC coming out with at least a draw. That bodes well for the home squad.
Promising, but without reinforcements. Ilie sweeping away from Mena. And Breeze. Remarkable performance with the Mexican under-20s. Option of the marauding Tecil. They've reverted back for Barrero.
And there's just so much movement within the system, Mike, defensively, that you're constantly chasing attackers.
Ball ahead. Moreno whisking across, and it's in! Off of McCarthy! Diorio for León! 20 minutes in! They lead the tie by 2 goals.
Well, the argument coming in was, within all that rotation, you don't have an opportunity to get yourself set. So even on the quick turnover, all of a sudden the structure is there for the attacking ball moving forward. Plenty of space, and notice the separation between the center backs. One of the great things about Aaron Long is he's so accurate on the ball. But within this system, that pushes him into a higher line. As he comes up, the space behind is vacated. Nobody slides over. All of a sudden, ball down into the channel, and then it's just child's play. These are drills that are ingrained as you as a young player. Down into the corner, cut it back across, and finish it off. Vision clouded a little bit for McCarthy in goal, but the direction much more clear for León. 3-1 on aggregate.
Diorio has repaid the favor after the manager inserts him to the starting lineup for the second leg. A 20th minute goal for Lucas Diorio, his second of the tournament. Avila, this is Murillo ranging. Diorio's taking it back. Diorio back, Davila! It was nearly a León avalanche.
Here comes some of that similar pressure that we saw in the first half of leg 1. Great little press up high, and you're rattled after the goal if you're LAFC, trying to find a way to immediately gain some momentum. Coming off of the mistake in the goal, almost cost you the game, really, because one more is the absolute dagger. I don't care what's on the attacking side of things. You cannot allow yourself to go down by 3. How interesting, by the way, the technical touchlines. Cherundolo, entire staff sitting there, nobody moving within their respective boxes, and yet Larcamón and his assistants up, chatty. Let's continue to go, apply the pressure. They certainly have not been the aggressor within this game, and yet 23 minutes in, they maintain the advantage.
They've doubled the advantage in this Champions League final. 3-1 ahead on aggregate. Long settles. Ilie. That was the first shot on goal of the game by either team. Chiellini sending Buwanga, Colta comfortably. León described feeling a sense of responsibility. Their social media channel made it very clear to the supporters, this is the most important game in club history. That's 78 years of history. Took it away, but there was a foul from Palencia en route. And a free kick for Club León. The Mexican side that's won 8 Liga MX titles, most recently the Apertura in 2020. Frias into the pocket, Davila. Angles inward, bounces off Murillo, Davila! Momentum is entirely swung now.
What's interesting is with this little tactical adjustment, and it's a mild one, and Moreno, they brought him a little bit higher, and they've stacked the midfield. So as Moreno comes all of a sudden, and Almeida comes high, and you've got 4 attacking choices instead of really just the 2, possibly a third. The back line that sees the rotation of Aaron Long coming over. When you see Murillo and Chiellini start to provide space within each other, you're starting to look now, Mike, where they were trying to figure it out on the attacking front. There's the turnover, the goal. Now they're looking, going, well, wait a second. Defensively, we need to shore ourselves up, and they're not able to do so. Just revert back into your opening set points. They just haven't been able to get to that. One of the issues as well on that right-hand side, Murillo, very slow in rotation to come back to the interior defensively.
Valencia, quite the battle down the line. Seal into Mena, who's very much inverted now. Rio claims that's short-lived. Villa pursues. Murillo has been bailed out.
You and I were addressing this coming into the match that, do I like the tactical change? The idea is good behind it, right? You have very possessional-oriented center backs that give you the ability to attack, aggressive coming off the back line. You know your midfield. Guys like Ilie, Kellen Acosta can help you control speed on the wings. Great strikers up top. Bagush, a question mark. But if it's not going right, you don't have the ability to make that quick change. And a lot of the players for LAFC can float out of a lot of different tactical looks. This is not one of them. If you have a problem right now and you're Steve Geronimo and you start to chase the game, you have to go to your bench in order to do so.
Turned over by Palacios. Barrero. He does such a good job of bringing everybody into him, and then Romero's pass siphoned off. Ilie under it. Seeking Vela, who scored twice on home ground against León in 2020 to overcome a 2-goal deficit. Bouanga. And that's his first effort toward target tonight. All competitions this calendar year, 19 games, 17 goals.
It's frustration is what it is from Denny Bouanga. You're 27 minutes into the match, and he's trying to uncork from about 30, 35 yards out. We'll say that León, as this first half has gone on, give them credit defensively. Started to close down a lot of the gaps we saw in the opening 15 minutes. More importantly, able to retain more possession, which, as I mentioned to you coming in, was the biggest asset for LAFC, and that's starting to fall by the wayside.
Diorio comes back. Chiellini, the veteran play. Ilie for Bouanga, marginally out of his reach. And the spin on that takes it out for a very deep throw. Vela, a Mexican superstar that everywhere he goes carries, Bagush. And Ricochet was nearly very kind to LAFC. Murillo has stepped in. Soars toward Long. The talk about Vela's contract being out at the end of the year, he's basically shooed all that talk away.
I feel like we've heard that before.
Time and time again.
It's just a Barstool story for these days, isn't it?
Quite.
The only thing that's really changed is time of day and possibly the beverage. How's that turn?
Bouanga got by Barrero and sends early service. That's going to find Vela. Vela sweeping free kick. Free kick LAFC in a remarkable position. The foul is from Fidel Ambriz.
It's a massive mistake from the 20-year-old, the homegrown young man. The turn starts with Bouanga, and just watch the veteran experience for Carlos Vela, just trying to keep this alive. Doesn't have the overlapping run from Bogusz coming around him. You see that the diagonal coming all the way over his right shoulder from Denny Bouanga has been removed. And if you're Fidel Ambriz, you just got to stand him up there. Allow this run to continue. Just track him. If anything, put a body on the back shoulder. Do not try and step through the player. Instead, for a team that's really struggled for an attacking identity over this last 10 minutes, including conceding a goal, you've gifted an opportunity just outside the top of the 18.
Well, this is a remarkable trio over the ball. The wall, being told not only that the referee will be watching, but surely VAR as well. Carlos Vela, Denny Bouanga, and Kellen Acosta.
Just recognized, by the way, you've got massive marksmen standing over it. But if you really wanted to get clever here, you do have a quick little ball into Palacios over the left shoulder, and you've got runs on the backside. You don't need to go that direction, but sometimes when you're this close to the 18, hard to get up and down, you could keep it on the ground.
Bouanga went for goal with a ricochet, and back to his feet. Kota is able to corral. Almost too many good options for LAFC in that moment.
There's a bird's eye view, and Chiellini's in front of it, trying to set a little bit of a screen. Can you get cute? The road less traveled when, again, when you don't have that many options, sometimes you overthink things, Mike. It's kind of like Bouanga's strike from distance. You work so hard, you chase, all of a sudden something's in front of you and you think, oh, I have to take this. When sometimes the simplest solution is literally just a stone's throw away from you.
Murillo. If there is good news for LAFC, they've only been shut out once in their 12 Champions League games. Their first tournament was 4 years ago, 2020. Can anticipate they'll get something tonight, but they now need 2 goals, 3-1 on aggregate in favor of León. Chiellini toward Bouanga. Murillo will chase. Slide by Davila. You'll see the ball back. Crowd appeals for a handball.
Kind of like you and I in dinner options, all these trips together, right?
Too many options.
The simplest option is right in front of us instead of meandering the local establishments. Maybe just order room service next time.
We've been lucky. Global cities. Illier shown yellow. It's the second card issued tonight. The first was to Palacios for LAFC.
Plate here. Illier, both he and Kellen Acosta. I mentioned to you that with the change tactically, you know, where was Bogusz going to come into this argument? And we knew that it was going to be pinching off to that left a little bit, but could he maintain that uniformity to help out the midfield? Sometimes they'll drop him in, they'll play him off the left of that 3, but still have an advanced attacking unit of 3 different soldiers. They don't have that tonight. So all of a sudden you're asking this piece to cover both grounds. He's not used to that, and he's really struggled getting in. Where that all leads is extra space within the midfield, both on the attacking front and defensively. And as this game has gone on, I mentioned Mena, Hernandez on the left-hand side, Davila, of course. They're doing such a better job of clogging up this space playing through the middle, but also giving themselves options moving forward.
Wow.
Is that real?
I don't know about the tattoo. I know Owen Wilson quite well. You know, what's funny is the 32-52 has always felt like it's the people, right? They've turned this into the People's Club in Los Angeles, an alternative to LA Galaxy that, of course, has such a behemoth quality historically in MLS. And yet it's also brought in all this star power around it as well. So, too, the co-tenant here in the stadium, Angel City. Chiellini throws his head in. This is one of the hottest tickets in town, and that is saying something. Hold 2 trophies, the Supporters Shield and MLS Cup simultaneously at the moment. Mena, it's a little slow with it, over the top. Carlos Vela has Bouanga making the run. Vela denied. Frias did well to close it down. Vela offers. He aimed for Murillo. Forward again from Acosta, and Bouanga runs up to Cota. You would say here, 35 minutes in, this feels different than the opening leg, despite the scoreline being as it was at this point at the new camp. One statistic I saw that was particularly poignant: León recorded 28 touches in LAFC's box in the first half of that first leg. That's the most LAFC has allowed in any half in their club's history in 6 years. It was León that did it in a final, no less.
The touches too, where they come from. You just mentioned 20 matches now. They're built in Concacaf Champions League, and you know, there's one thing you can say about León: some of their dynamics have changed. Whether it be the manager, the way that they want to attack defensively, you know they're always pretty sound, but in 18 of 20 matches, they've been able to hit the back of the net. And obviously goals win games, but more importantly in this one, even if this was 0-0 in the first leg, just that one goal to give them that extra pressure, it's been really impressive so far. I've admired the way that they've been able to work themselves into the match, and they certainly feel like the better team, at least at this point in time.
Certainly reached that point. McCarthy, skew from Chiellini. McCarthy launches. Palacios recovers. Bouanga cleared as far as Acosta for Vela. It's Lucas Romero defensively. Bouanga went down. He crashes in, but does not win a free kick off Barrero.
Not necessarily sure the referee's going to allow this one. Denny Bouanga is making a beeline for Barrero. Contact, but if you decide to walk right into a cement pole, is it really someone else's fault?
And he is,
let's be clear,
a pretty good personification of said cement pole. Here go Palacios.
They've got to find a way, LAFC, if they want to stay in this game, to create depth within the midfield. There's nothing within the build right now. Instead of having clear-cut ideas of this is where we want to attack, find some confidence within the team, build off of each other. It's really just put one foot in front of the other. Go and try and win these 50-50 balls. Once you come out on the other end, then you look up and go, okay, what do I have? Instead of everything that you've trained for and going, okay, this is the way we're going to attack. Here's the rotation and where it's going to come from. And here's how we're going to be successful.
Two-time UEFA Champions League runner-up, Giorgio Chiellini. The tackle, he thought it secured the ball. He's gone to check on Victor Davila.
Watch the second leg here for Chiellini. Swinging, just the backside of it. And the first one, does he grab the ball or does he actually retain contact on the player itself? See, that angle looks a little bit different. I tell you, the first time I thought he caught him. That viewpoint, you can understand where the argument comes from Chiellini.
And from the opposite vantage point, you can understand why León was looking for even more. Enjoy every day, Chiellini has said. He knows he's close to the end of his career at age 38. But he's vocal, he brings energy, and despite a recent injury, he gets the chance to start here in this second leg of the Champions League final. All the while, a set piece for León. Can they find another? Hernandez, header down to McCarthy, who claims. That was the goal scorer in the first leg, Tissio rising.
A really good save from McCarthy, though. Watch that bounce. From a goalkeeping standpoint, watch his eyes tracking it in this little hop up off the deck. You know, sometimes when you haven't had your hands on it a ton, which he hasn't, to be fair, the simplest little things right in front of you can always be very troublesome. Instead, the calmness that you need to help retain a little bit of positive thoughts as you approach halftime. They're just trying to get to the dressing room, I can promise you. Girondolo finally up off his bench, trying to give his team direction. But the vision of what could have been coming into the beginning portion of this game has certainly faded.
Each team has merely one shot on goal. A set piece from Buanga, the Diorio goal in the 20th for León. Chiellini, long calling for the ball. Costa. Kept alive. Vela asking questions. He'll get a clean look now. Vela into the penalty area. Whips it across. Ilie under it. Settles. Reverses. Onto Acosta. On his left, Acosta! Whiskers! Wide of the post.
Acosta's having to go with the referee, too. If the referee moves here, Acosta can hit it sooner, and he doesn't have to wait for the angle to come to a more restricted position over the left shoulder. Back post run is on. Pagush is there. Good recovery by León, but look at the ref right there. He's furious because as he's tracking back over, he doesn't have the ability to step through this ball. Instead, he has to wait for it to come across to the left peg, then come back across. You lose momentum, and you lose the vision to be able to hit this and challenge the goalkeeper from a more square location.
Chiellini charging in. His pass is wayward. 3.5 minutes plus stoppage remain. León 3-1 ahead on aggregate. They've picked up another one from Lucas Diorio tonight. Murillo maintains, seeking Pagush. Referee gestures for an LAFC free kick. There's some real genuine size here for LAFC.
Well, the size is great, and the problem is they haven't been able to take advantage of it, of course, because once they have got into these dead ball situations, the service has been atrocious, and that's probably being nice. But you've got 6'1", 6'2", 6'4", drift something to the back post, run underneath it, and instead, once again, same conversation 43 minutes into a match, chance squandered. Let's go back to the 30-minute mark, and we talked about how within this system, Mike, that you really didn't have a lot of flexibility. If it wasn't going right for you, you would have to make one change. I'm actually looking now, and I'm thinking if he's going to make a change, it's probably going to have to be two. Now, which way do you attack that? And how long do you let it go? Do you come out of the dressing room and say, I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes to get this right? Or do you do it immediately?
León can make that decision for Steve Girondolo if they find another. All of a sudden, it would be outright panic. One by a breeze. León Hernandez arrives to the ball. He left in just 7 minutes' time. Injured inside 5 minutes. Trying to continue. This belongs to Los Angeles. DiOrio. Few options for Breeze. DiOrio the target. Chiellini put it down. Murillo for McCarthy. First and second half stoppage time goals in the opening leg. Recovers, shrugs off the challenge. He's looking for Bagush. Chiellini. Buonga. Acosta. Ilie. We begin 3 minutes of stoppage time.
I got a beautiful thought, to be honest. I was with it. We expected this overlapping run to be coming from Moreno.
That is a rare miscue from León.
The little swing pivot, as I like to call it, where they sit in this three, and both wingbacks and Hernandez and Moreno so good as we close out this first half of finding a way to certainly attack as they move forward, but defensively you shored up the weak side, which was really the main issue they were having in the opening 10 minutes. Because not only does that free up space for LAFC, but then all of a sudden, when you do turn the ball over and you win it back, Mike, you're looking for that outlet. They didn't have it. So just before the goal, I mentioned to you, they have no structure to work off of, and then yet they set themselves. You look up, and it's almost like, hey, we know how to do this again, right? Eerily similar to what we saw in the opening half against LAFC on Wednesday night.
The first leg that saw León 2 goals ahead shortly before halftime. Palacios to be for Buonga. Long. Ushered downfield. So we've reached the midway point of stoppage time. McCarthy, Tessio, Costa. Never truly under control. And a clever ball down the line from Mena. DiOrio. Turned over to Acosta. In slides Romero. Slipping ahead from Breeze, who crushes Chiellini. Plenty of green-shirted León supporters peppered throughout the stadium. And they'll provide the most applause at halftime in the second leg of the Champions League final. Lucas DiOrio in the 20th minute gives León a 2-goal lead in the tie. Cota in the defense largely untested. Halftime, León 3, LAFC 1 on aggregate. And on the night, León 1, LAFC 0. BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, South LA, the site of this Champions League final. There have been 2 changes for LAFC at halftime, knowing that they trail 3-1 on aggregate. Mateus Bagush's night is over, replaced by Kwadwo Opoku. And Jose Cifuentes will replace Giorgio Chiellini. That means surely a change in shape.
It's the right move, though, if you're LAFC. You have to find a way to attack this game. And look, Chiellini gives you the experience, but Murillo is going to give you the speed that you need. And as the game progresses forward, you're going to have to find a way to track back. More importantly, you've got more attacking options to change and attack this back line in the second 45 minutes.
León will get the first touch. Are they just 45 minutes away from hoisting the trophy that they've so longed for? We conclude the 15th edition of Concacaf Champions League in its modern era. LAFC need 2 to take this to extra time. León have insurance. Is it enough? The throw for Vela.
Here's the other thing that you get, Mike, with the addition of Kwadwo Opoku. You're going to get Carlos Vela in a more centralized location. In the first half, he chased a lot, searching, finding a way to get rhythm and get into this game. And now all of a sudden, you can play into him. You don't have to go find him because he's going to be readily available at the top of this triumvirate.
That's a high boot from Embriz. And Palencia's won a free kick for LAFC. A 2-goal second half. Hardly out of the realm of possibility for LAFC, that's for sure. Vela stands over the ball. Is there any greater lightning rod? Vela delivers. Header snap to the far side. Away, Ilie pursues and keeps it alive. Let us see it hooked off his foot. León start the other direction through Romero. Up to Diorio. Pushed wide by Frias. This is Hernandez. Elias Hernandez continues. Denny Bouanga. Bouanga lost his feet. There's nothing at all. 2 wrongs making a right. If León had simply handled Violette, perhaps they'd be hosting the second leg, but a loss on the road to the Haitian side, one that shocked Austin FC. Be the greatest story written in the Champions League's modern era. Rare blemish. That's Davila going down.
Now all of a sudden he's going to find himself in a lot more one-on-one situations with Davila. The way this León team likes to attack, making sure that you've still got a high line. Diorio with Davila coming underneath, switching over to this right-hand side. He knows that he has the ability now, especially as you fan things out. When Ilie drops down in and you start to rotate Murillo out, now he's got to find that little pocket, that gray area, where he can jump over the left shoulder and attack the space, but also come in between the outside back. It's a 2-pronged attack that it wasn't there in the first half. It didn't need to be, though, but with the attacking changes for LAFC, it's something to think about on the counter for León.
Settled by Opoku. Covered by Moreno. Frias sends Diorio searching. Crashing into long. Play on Diorio. Foot race with Murillo. Diorio wins a corner. Argentinian player who not too long ago was playing at Everton in Chile. Some Copa Libertadores experience, but a massive goal in this final in the 20th minute. And now a massive corner to defend for LAFC. Man on play short. Head on a swivel, cross away. Frias snaps the header to the backside and out.
makes that grab your shoulder knowing that this is going to be redirected back across the 6. It's an incredible effort from Tessio just to try and get this right at the top of the 6, to pick that off on the backside. Something similar by Aaron Long in the first half.
Opoku. Foul by Tessio. Pinpoint control from Opoku to maintain. He's won quite a free kick.
Questionable that you don't pull a card here as well. Notice in from behind. Now, the argument is going to be players within the vicinity. Even as Frias is trying to come over on the right shoulder, you've also got near side help with Barredo. But it's still a knock from behind in an attacking motion that's getting right to the top of the box. Go back to the 40th minute. I talked to you. Sometimes the simplest option is that little one right in front of you, and yet they took the high road. They went up over the top of the goal. Why not be simplistic in nature here? If you feel like you've got some confidence, whether it's Kellen Acosta, Carlos Vela, go ahead and have a crack. But we haven't seen that within this game. You could always play around it because you certainly have the squared off options if you want to.
Mena converses with a contemporary.
And yet you know Vela's hitting it. I'm still hitting it.
They could change the momentum in one fell swoop. Acosta did assist the winning goal at the Gold Cup 2 years ago. If they decide to get tricky, or is it Vela's moment? Carlos Vela for goal into the wall. And now commits a foul, catching Diorio. And Vela is booked. Sometimes just not your night. Whether it be from the corner, dead ball, once again, 20 yards out. Nothing to show for it. Carlos Vela knows it. You know, Dev, this LAFC side, they've had stars, make no mistake. Year 6 here, and they've had, obviously, Vela win the MVP, rewrite elements of the Major League Soccer record book. Conversely, you could say that this is a team that was meant to operate without a singular superstar in a city that so often celebrates hero movies, whether you view that as real cinema or not. And in that instance, Vela is trying to be the hero that LAFC needs, but perhaps that's not what they need in that moment.
Well, more so this year than any other year, really, because he's kind of always been that one that's the main focal point, right? The spotlight. And yet, there's a bunch of players around him. Denny Bouanga, of course, is the one that comes to mind. Sometimes when things aren't going for you, you force the issue. León didn't have to deal with that, though, did they? They were struggling defensively. The issue wasn't on the attacking front for them in the first half. It was the fact that they had to scramble so much to try and find a way just to get some sort of resolve to give you a base to build off of. And then all of a sudden, you get that one opportunity and everything starts to click. That's where LAFC is at right now. You're just trying to find a way, one positive motion to work off of each other. Instead, another errant opportunity. I get it, it's building off the back line, but McCarthy's sailing it out. At some point in time, you're going to have to dig down in and say, we want this.
Diorio back up and moving. The yellow card allowed him to return without having to spend time on the touchline. His goal in the 20th critical juncture of the match. Slid away from Bouanga. Acosta. Turns down the run of Cifuentes. Switching the point through Murillo. Palacios. Lier drops in to make it a 3 in the build in the attacking half. They often pin León in the first half, but made nothing of it. Palacios into Bouanga. Denny Bouanga will strike. Davila will chase long. Supported wide. Palacios for Opoku. Frias intervenes. Valencia remained down, and that's why Long put it out to touch. While he is just apparently off the field of play. Change coming here for LAFC. And that's a like-for-like change at that. Ryan Hollingshead comes off the bench, the 32-year-old right back for Palencia. And with that, now LAFC have 9 of their starting 11 from the first leg on the field after the 3 changes they've opted to make. Third change, first moment utilized. Vela to Seal in his wake. Flicked away. Ilie pursues into Davila. And scooped forward for Diorio. Hollingshead, fresh into the game, has tracked him down. But he's not entirely deterred him. Diorio with a deflection. McCarthy. Fuentes. Rodolfo Cota again.
Yeah, the real issue you're going to run into here if you're LAFC, and it's going to happen rapidly, Mike, is we're 57 minutes in, right? You're almost 15 minutes into the second half. Math checks out, by the way. Thank you. As you work through this, I already mentioned that with the changes, you were going to get a higher line, right, defensively. And so that does certainly open yourself up to a counter from León. We get it. It's 3-1, it's 1-0 within this match. You've got to go and find a goal, I get it. But the problem is on the attacking front, you really aren't seeing any sort of change in terms of the overall ideology in which they want to attack this game. It's kind of just same thing, one foot in front of another, who's going to be the next ball, instead of all the beautiful movement that we've come to know and love from this LAFC squad over this beautiful start to the 2023 season.
Hollingshead. This is impressive. Victor Davila, nobody home. LAFC trying to recreate the magic of MLS Cup last year. Gareth Bale in the final seconds of extra time, equalizing to take it to penalties in his final club appearance before off to the World Cup and an eventual sunset. A stunning career for the Welshman. Insurgents at BMO Stadium to Seal, flip the field. Working through Mena. His time now may be limited. Hammered across by Barrero. Hernandez has found a moment. Hernandez curling. Choice.
Well, why does it come to that, though? Right, again, like the side-to-side motion. Just watch the amount of time and space that you're allowing here. You're slow to get over, and then on that argument, Opoku doesn't go. You don't get a step up by Ilie Sanchez. Yeah, think is certainly the message being sent by Murillo on the back line. Communication has to start to tick up at another level. León doing a really good job right now, not only on the back line, but just underneath Romero, holding the space in front of the center backs, and then at Breeze providing that extension in the midfield.
Cross met by Cifuentes. Romero. Cifuentes, wrong side of Buanga. An hour now in the books. Floated over the penalty area. Tesio. Tesio curling a dangerous ball. Field for Murillo. Opoku. Recovered once more by León. The pressure mounts. Frias. Hernandez. Tesio. Hernandez. Davila spins. Hernandez breaks free. Forward here. Davila overtaken by Hollingshead.
Just trying to get that on his favorite left foot. Allows that to come across his body on the right-hand side. Use the momentum to his advantage. Just a ton of space there for him to just let this thing drift and then go after McCarthy in goal.
Opoku helped to take it away, but he's left that behind Vela. A massive exhale from the majority of the 22,000 plus. Palacios unable to pin it down. Long. Only have 2 changes remaining. They may well use them in a moment's time. León into the final third once more. Enter the penalty area. LAFC rebuff. Short of Buanga. And here come changes for LAFC. That's it for Ilie, the holding midfielder replaced by Timmy Tillman. Stipe Biuk on as well. Will replace Carlos Vela.
I'm not surprised about the change with Ilie. He gives you a very attack-minded midfield 3. Sifu can drop down underneath, and all of a sudden any of the 3, whether it's Acosta, Tillman, or Jose Cifuentes, are going to feel comfortable trying to help stretch this game. Just have to maintain that sort of presence defensively. If one of you goes, okay, who's going to peel off and drift? Now the real question becomes, who's going to feel more comfortable on that attacking front? Is it Kwadwo Opoku? Is it Denny Buanga? Stipe Biuk usually likes to operate from the outside, working his way back in. Denny Buanga immediately trying to make himself feel at home.
Notably as well, Ilie and Vela were both on yellow cards. And this is, frankly, 150 minutes Carlos Vela would like to forget.
Oh, that's just form and vision, though. They're struggling within this match to maintain any sort of positive outcome in their play.
Ball through from Davila. Field for Acosta. Able to slip free. Opoku. Down the line. Opoku wins a corner for LAFC. For all that's gone wrong, get one, and this will become a very chaotic final 25 minutes.
Just take it, too. You know, you need someone that's got some confidence right now, Mike, that's willing to attack the game and stop going through the motions. That's the other side of it is León just kind of feel comfortable right now. They're just taking whatever's put in front of them. LAFC is not willing to attack this game. You got to get someone with some movement going forward.
Costa out to Buick. Maybe a chance at a second service. Slid it in. Long is there. Long heads it high. And Long takes a head-to-head knock. 2 players are down. And there is a genuine laceration as well.
The question or not was, how quickly does this contact occur right there? I'll tell you. The backside, that's a better look. You know, the initial angle, you kind of see him leaning into it, but that's not so much. It's more of just a meeting of the minds. Aaron Long trying to push himself through this, get onto net.
Now, because it's a head-to-head contact, could potentially see the concussion substitute come into play. The center back option LAFC have off their bench right now would be Daniel Maldonado, as they started Chiellini and took him off at halftime. Or they simply blow up the tactics and
you're not there yet. There's 24 minutes to go. You're not at that point in the time within this match.
Ultimately, you're out of subs. Whatever change you do make, that's it. If they have to make a change at all, they have helped Long sit up now. Significant bloodshed.
Just hoping he's all right here in Long. I mean, obviously you want to stop the bleeding, absolutely, but that was also, that's a massive blow. Concussion protocol. Making sure that he's okay. Lest we forget, León on the other side of this argument, still down on the ground.
That's Lucas Romero. León are going to make a change during this stoppage. Won't be hard to pick out Romero from here. Joel Campbell. On social media, he has called this the last dance. His future appears assuredly elsewhere. Costa Rican talisman enters on the cusp of a Champions League title. And it's Angel Mena's name was so critical, especially in the first leg, for the all-time greats for Club León. Meanwhile, Daniel Maldonado is going to come on for Aaron Long. So LAFC will use the concussion substitution, which means León will be granted a 6th sub. And if this somehow makes it to extra time, each team will be granted a 7th. Notably, it's not a typical 18-man bench. It's actually a deeper bench in Champions League this year. So it doesn't mean replacing your goalkeeper. What can you say about Angel Mena's performance in this final?
He was incredible, to be honest, Mike. You know, really positionally where they deployed him. Started him out wide on the right, couldn't find the game. Defensively, had to chase a ton more. All of a sudden, you get the goal, which certainly changes the match, but it allowed them to retain possession. He played this false 9, this 10, this 7. Such a great presence in totality for León over the course of the evening. A curtain call is probably not doing it justice.
Champions League in this region could be a very funny instrument to describe the best. Chivas won it in 2018, while their league form left them near the bottom of the table throughout the run. Last year, Seattle missed the playoffs for the first time, but won the Champions League crown that MLS in the United States had thirsted for 13 prior years. And the reclassification in the Liguilla in the postseason in Mexico for León, somewhat of an embarrassment, falling to Atlético San Luis. Well, LAFC looked at the height of their might throughout the run. That's a foul from Tillman. And yet it's León 3-1 ahead on aggregate with 20 minutes to play. Opoku spots the wide run. Biuk. Ball slid through for Opoku and ricochets off of Guerrero and out. There's an injured player behind the play for León as well. It is a corner for LAFC when we resume.
I do like the energy that you've gotten out of Quadwell Opoku, though, and certainly some of the decisions have struggled. The balls that he's played through haven't been great, but he's still willing to chase. He's still willing in one-on-one situations in open field of play to attack, and that's the most important thing right now for LAFC, especially for León defensively. You need to challenge them. You know, León have been really comfortable within this game, and you're approaching the 72nd minute. Put them under more pressure. Make them feel uncomfortable, even though they're sitting on that 2-goal aggregate lead.
Kellen Acosta needs his best now. Acosta high for Murillo. Tried to get back onside. He did not. Great step by León. Maldonado's first intervention. This belongs to LAFC. They'll move as quickly as they can. Just 3 shots on target tonight, 2 by León. They have the only shot on target in the second half. For Biuk. For a throw and a change for León. The Orioles given all he can give. Brian Rubio answers off the bench.
He's been laboring in the second half, the Oreo. Certainly a job well done for Lucas, but just the cramping on the backside of things. To be fair, even though all the hard work had been done, he still created something out of nothing. 2 runners on the backside. Little hesitation. Fakes. Immediately steps off. Gets it on the right foot. Doesn't create the best of contact, but it doesn't matter. It still says 1-0 on the scoreboard. Now the posturing behind the scenes. You know, they said that the sub was coming. Now Diorio not off the deck. If you're really going to make the change, the referee certainly going to speed things up. You don't have that argument for 32-52, do you? Non-stop. You can't even say for the first whistle because we showed up really 3.5 hours prior to match. They were out in the parking lot having a blast.
They opened the doors 2.5 hours prior to kick to make sure fans had the opportunity to clear the gates and arrive in their seats for the pregame festivities. Yellow cards out to Murillo. is David Murillo. Items being thrown onto the field. Diorio, who is up. There were items thrown in the first leg of this final as well, and Steve Cherundolo, just as some of the León players deflected the question, the players eventually would deflect the cups. It's the yellow card.
It's hard to blame him. Jesus Mario. Time is money. 15 minutes to go. Everything just counts a little more. There's another one, right? Let's get on with it. Absolutely for Moreno.
Free kick, León. To be fair, Steve Cherundolo said it would be very nice if they didn't throw things tonight. That's Moreno. Received the earlier booking. While Campbell back up, he was causing LAFC fence off the bench in the first leg. Another would seemingly finish it for León. Davila throws back. 22,413 the announced attendance tonight. That is a sellout. That pass picked off. LAFC searching for life now. That by Teseo. Acosta for Opoku. Opoku looking to turn the corner at the end line. Cutback ball. Colta over the top of it.
So good at open space. Quadro Opoku. Notice he just doesn't really have any options. Cifuentes just stagnant. Right at the penalty mark. Stipe Buke parks a tent on the back post. Fortunately behind three separate León defenders. Great work down in the corner.
Back heel to keep it in, only to see Maldonado thrust it forward for LAFC. 12.5 minutes and what could well be a sizable amount of stoppage time to come. LAFC need two. The aggregate advantage 3-1 León. They led 2-1 entering the second leg. Lucas Diorio in the 20th minute. Denny Bouanga scored in second half stoppage time to get one back for LAFC. Cifuentes, Opoku met by Colta. He's lost the ball and now he's leapt upon it. And that's the brightest moment LAFC have had tonight.
It's the first touch that lets him down. Watch the diagonal back through. It's got to be a positive touch out in front of you. Instead, it's a little bit behind, and notice the spin on it. It leaves him a bit curious as to where the next touch is going to come from, popping up off the deck. You want that out in front, the ability to hit it with your instep immediately. Instead, Cherundolo knows that that is a look they certainly want back.
The way the game's gone, how many chances are there really? Campbell seeds the ball back. Opoku is held up by Teseo. Acosta in for Bouanga, who spins. Bouanga, Denny Bouanga score! No, it's wide of the net. It looked like he had his moment. The crowd felt assured he had his moment. and not to be.
Watch Denny Bouanga, though, because he just waits for this at the top of the box. And on this quick little turn, now it's just the individual brilliance. Your 1v3 that's clipped back across. As he touches this ball, the bounce back off so favorable for Denny Bouanga. Gets it onto the left peg, lets it fly. But it's just outside the box. Fidel Ambriz, referee not happy with him. A little bit of contact and then working his way into the book. Little surge, though, for the home squad. All of a sudden, if it's possible, Larcamon on the sideline, even more ambitious with his communication to his back line, the midfield. The rotation starting to slow down for them. LAFC finding some of these seams to work themselves through. Give credit to the midfield three. Acosta down underneath Tillman.
This is good. Biuk, free kick, LAFC. And that pulse just a little stronger now. Well, eventually, LAFC had to show in this moment.
Boy, just watch Bernardo's footing. He gets caught a little bit square as a center back. That touch right there, Stipe Biuk, incredible. Because as he brings it back across the body, all of a sudden, as a central defender, your shoulders are squared up. Do you pinch to the inside? How quickly can you rotate over and then get a body on the ball? Instead, you're too slow to react. Incredible first motion by Biuk.
Carlos Vela was the one to take all the set pieces until his exit about 10 or 15 minutes ago. Kiss to the ball. Appears to be blood on the back of previously injured Moreno. Palacios or Acosta. Swings out to Tillman. Cifuentes. Got by not once but twice to Seal. Seeking a Polku, it's Davila. Hernandez. Tillman stepped in. Forward from Campbell. Davila was offside. León can taste it now. 8 minutes and a stoppage time from a Champions League crown. Biuk. Passing into Moreno. Cifuentes. A second bite of the apple and Breeze behind him. Ahead for Biuk. Biuk. Colta swats down and retains.
There's just nobody to step into it anyway. Well done by LAFC, and again, just simple little balls. How rapidly can you move it on to the next vantage point? And they get it to Biuk, but as he goes to cut this back across, Mike, again, 80+ minutes, no options within the box.
Ball across for Opoku. Tecillo into the stands. Another corner for LAFC.
And it's up-tempo once again, but I go back to the conversation that you and I had in the first half. It sounds like Groundhog Day, right? As soon as they start to get a little bit of vision in the final third, there's such a lack of variety within the box itself.
Well, finally the crowd has something to cheer about. Of course, the whistle had blown well before Hollingshead's ghost goal. Rare, uproarious applause from the LA faithful. So Acosta will try once more. Acosta, the head of Davila. Palacios, Campbell. Play on, Bouanga. Bouncing through Cota. Just a marginal deflection from Rubio enough. Davila streaking through midfield. Hollingshead on Campbell.
It's hard to argue, right? Just going right through the backside of him, Ryan Hollingshead. I would have to say that the right side of this attack has certainly some excellent steps here in the second half. The problem is it's primarily been Quadwa Poku. One-off situations, trying to challenge 2 or 3 players at a time.
Two players down. Two changes afoot here for León. And it's Osvaldo Rodriguez and Alfonso Alvarado. A look overhead at BMO Stadium in the south of Los Angeles. This California dream is minutes away for León. The first change. Elias Hernandez came out in the 7th minute of the first leg and guts out 86 minutes tonight. And Ivan Moreno off as well. He's on a yellow card.
We have to give credit to Hernandez, who, from an attacking standpoint, Mike, really didn't have a ton to do within this system this evening. But defensively, you're matched up. You've got Quadwa Poku coming at you. There's Carlos Vela in the first half, a couple opportunities with Denny Mwanga. Well done, and Moreno, brilliant at that hybrid right side wing back, right back spot. Really provided some excellent balance on the back line for them tonight.
As he leaves, it's with a 2-goal León lead. Searching for an option. León playing 6 across the back. That's kept alive. Return from Hollingshead seeking a Poku. It's to an LAFC throw. A bit of attacking pop here, but it's Rubio and Davila handling this at the moment. Tillman back to McCarthy, got a hand on the lone goal tonight, ultimately steered it into side netting. Biuk off the cutback. Biuk went down, a referee wagging his finger no. Is it clear and obvious? Time will tell. Maldonado will chase down to the other end. Seconds, a sizable amount of stoppage time. 8-time champions in Liga MX, León have never laid their fingers on this trophy. They are so tantalizingly close. Biuk once more for LAFC. The run never arrived. Moreno. The turn back here. Acosta levies it off. Cifuentes was bumped. Hollingshead with an extended arm. By Ivan Barton. versus arm.
On the other side for CP Buick, this little cut through, he does so well for himself. But watch his momentum, just feels a little contact and starts to lean into it. There's no foul, no penalty at all. On the reverse side of things for Ryan Hollingshead, you know, is there enough in it? No. But the problem is you put yourself in a spot where the referee's vantage point, he's coming at a diagonal from the other side of the field, the arm's away from the body. So it certainly grabs a little bit more of his shoulder than his face, but the referee can't tell. You know, his angle, he sees Hollingshead's arm out and creating contact.
10 added minutes. We'll hit triple digits in this final.
Sure.
I'm reading the sign the same way you are.
I thought maybe it might be a little bit more given the way this second half is going.
To take this to extra time, LAFC need 2 goals. León just need to see 10 more minutes out. Buwanga and Hollingshead both booked in that previous moment. Of course, yellow cards now meaningless unless you get the second. Rodriguez in the way. Maldonado. Cifuentes. Attempt to spin it back from Tillman. And kept in by Opoku. And slid upfield, Rubio, Murillo into the bench. Driven away again by León. Murillo attempted to play through Buwanga. Davila off to the races. A clever touch around Maldonado. Ran into Acosta. Maldonado's on the ball. We've gone a quarter of stoppage time. These two cities, 2,600 kilometers apart. These two clubs, 2 goals apart. Threaded ahead, Davila. Victor Davila is through. Davila from behind. And LAFC, they breathe for a moment. And the flag was up.
Certainly looks to be really close, but in an offside position. And I tell you what, if he's not, you've got a real problem on your hands. And this is game, set, and match because this is a penalty. Contact in the box from behind. A real good argument for a sending off as well. Instead, Maldonado bailed out by the fact that the referee on the far side had his flag up. Lacombe knows it too.
Buick. LAFC granted a lifeline. Goal wiped off right before they scored in the second leg. We'll see if history repeats itself. There's smoke billowing here. It appears to come from the León fans. Up into the air. Tillman. Cota. Exasperated.
This was the chance. Tillman, just watch him peel off. He recognizes the separation as Tessio starts to drift over, that he's got enough of a space to drop in. The timeline's just right, but no, he has to go down and get it. He overjumps it because he expects the ball to be a little bit higher. But if you're LAFC, you're trying to pick out 2 runners. You're just trying to stick this thing up and let someone run underneath it. Instead, as you hunt, you can't get enough on it.
late heroics in this tournament. One that will look very different next year. One that has 5 minutes remaining in its current iteration. Throw for LAFC as quickly as they can. Cifuentes for Biuk. Biuk. That's a corner. It nearly needs to be perfect now. Green smoke overtakes Kellen Acosta. Acosta put it up. Handball.
Let's just say the double whistle is an interesting choice of selection here. Not necessarily sure that's overly kosher. Everybody else in the stadium questioning which whistle exactly that was.
Now there was blood running down the back of the head of Moreno, who was attended to. That's a swimming cap. And now they've washed it off. Well, that's one whistle. Is there even more time to be added? LAFC don't look any closer to making a game of this, to be fair. Campbell went down. LAFC power ahead, approaching the need for a miracle. Rodriguez. Rubio. Slide in by Palacios. Recovered by Murillo. Slaloming forward, Murillo.
There's a lot wrong with this sequence that certainly doesn't lead to any right. Jesus Murillo really active in the first half. His aggression trying to challenge overall defensive shape from León. Putting 45 minutes, second half, a lot more defending, just trying to hold next to Aaron Long or Neil Maldonado. I'll let that go a little bit sooner. Was contact on Denny Bouanga behind the scenes. The referee just let them play on with the advantage, and certainly the yellow that's going to be for Tessio, knocking the ball away.
Hardly anyone's escaped the referee's eye at some point. Toward Maldonado. Somehow through. Cota allows this out. And it is a corner for LAFC. It needs to be now. Acosta. Header upfield, Davila. Larcamone ushered away. Murillo steers a header. Field from Romero. Rubio battling with Cifuentes. The final minute now. LAFC need 2 goals. Tillman. Corner. Tillman offering over from Murillo, and that likely put the crown on León.
That's the night for LAFC, just close, but no cigar. Jesus Mario. Real high line. Able to get the center back in a touch on the near post. And you have to imagine that, in theory, extra minute, maybe two after the 10, but certainly looks like it's not going to be enough for black and gold. Tremendous effort put forth by León. They can see the finish line.
Rodolfo Cota set to win Champions League again. This lion roars loudest. Club León win the Champions League in 2023.
The final score of tonight's match is LAFC 0, León 1. That concludes a magnificent 2023 Scotiabank.
The trophy will return to Mexico for the 14th time in 15 years. And Club León, after 78 years, champions in Concacaf for the first time.
Resilience is really the word that comes to mind for León. You know, start to finish, really within the entire tournament, questions as to who they were faced up against, answered that against Tigres, and then you slay the unslayable in LAFC, not just in one leg, Mike, but in the second leg. You have to tip the hat there for how good they were, both home and away. Truly a remarkable champion within Concacaf Champions League.
It finishes in the second leg. León 1, LAFC 0, and on aggregate, León champions, 3-1.
Celebra el nuevo campeón de la Liga de Campeones de Concacaf, Scotiabank. Compra tu camiseta edición limitada de campeones, como la usada por los jugadores en el campo. Disponible en amazon.com/Concacaf.
The trophy presentation is just moments away. They'll assemble the stage, and Club León will receive the prize that they've longed for. What a tremendous run for Nicolas Larcamón, the 5th Argentine manager to win the trophy at the tender age of 38 years old. He struggled at Puebla. Some asked, how could León turn to Larcamón? He's been the perfect leader for this León team. Diorio scores the lone marker in this second leg. For LAFC, it is utter shock. How has this happened again? 2 finals in 4 years, and they come up short. The fans that traveled 2,600 kilometers by air, by automobile, you could be sure it's going to be a ruckus ride home. That is whenever they decide to leave.
Yeah, good luck getting them out of the building. They've come this far. The Ultras, León, supporting cast, everybody coming out of the tunnel, off the bench to really enjoy this incredible achievement. The team that was in 2020 had to draw comparisons to the matchup that was the round of 16, now down to the final 2. Different team, maybe. Same ambition. Mission accomplished.
Champions League winners for the first time. And they did so in a way that seemingly left very little doubt after 180 minutes. Rodolfo Cota won the Gold Gloves in 2018. He is likely to win them again. He did it with Chivas, a club down on their luck. He's done it with León, a club that in the 40s and 50s were the face of Mexican football. And now, some 80 years later, kings of CONCACAF for the first time. This just 30 days, Devin, after León were cast out of the Liguilla. Shockingly so. They said it weighed heavily on them. said the responsibility of returning a trophy to Mexico weighed on them as well. It turns out that pressure has created diamonds.
A reminder that you had to wait 24 days just to get into the first leg against LAFC. The performance that you saw from Black and Gold in the opening 90 minutes on Wednesday night was really what you thought you were going to get out of León. Instead, you flipped the script. That's why I go back to it. You can say that it's a different team. You can say that the personnel have changed, but I promise you, in the back of their minds, they go back to 2020 and thought what could have been. Don't let it repeat itself, because we performed well in that leg too at home.
You're ready?
But now all of a sudden we're on the road. We got to find a way to push through this fight and complete it. Well done by León to see this venture out.
And their celebration continues on the field now.
Un poco más. Oh, perdón. Estamos con Víctor Dávila. Víctor Dávila, campeón de la Concacaf, el Club León. ¿Cómo se siente?
Indescriptible esta sensación, la verdad, muy contento, demasiado. La verdad es una final histórica que el club nunca había conseguido y qué mejor salir campeón. La verdad, estamos muy felices, muy emocionados como te digo, y nada, ahora toca celebrar por todo el trabajo que se hizo durante todo este torneo y qué mejor premio que ir a jugar el Mundial de Clubes.
Es la primera vez que León sale campeón de la Concacaf. Ustedes hicieron historia. ¿Qué significa?
Como te digo, es algo indescriptible, la verdad, muy orgulloso de mis compañeros, muy orgulloso de la institución, feliz por haber conseguido un logro histórico para el club, algo histórico en lo personal, y nada, ahora toca celebrar, toca disfrutar, se luchó mucho y hoy lo conseguimos, así que nada, muy contento, muy agradecido de Dios por haberme dado la oportunidad de ganar esta copa, y nada, como te digo, ahora toca celebrar.
Felicidades, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a usted.
Club León 3-1 on aggregate over LAFC. 1-0 in the second leg with all to play for. And the all-time record in Champions League finals. Mexico, 17 wins, 9 draws. US and Canada have each managed just 1 victory. Back to the field.
Estamos con Elías Hernández. Elías Hernández, usted es campeón de la Concacaf. ¿Cómo se siente?
Feliz, contento. Era un trofeo que veníamos buscando hace mucho tiempo. Hoy sabíamos que no iba a ser un partido fácil. El equipo supo hacer un gran partido y nos vamos contentos a casa.
Elías, ustedes hicieron un gran esfuerzo en todo el torneo. ¿Cómo salieron las cosas? ¿Cómo se dio este campeonato?
No sabe alegría pura. Digo, no fue fácil el camino. Supimos, ante todas las adversidades, sobreponernos. El día de hoy, ante esta gran afición, yo creo que el equipo se plantó, hizo un gran partido. Y bueno, es un regalo para toda la afición de León.
Elías, felicidades y muchas gracias.
Gracias, saludos a ustedes.
Elias Hernandez will hoist that trophy at the age of 35. Mexican part of multiple League MX championships, over 500 appearances in the Mexican First Division, and 50 international club competitions. Finally, this trophy is his. A lot of those stories in this León team. Sure, they've managed to bring in players that have achieved in this competition, but for everyone that has, there's one that's been on the verge and never gotten over the hump. All the while, what goes through the mind of Carlos Vela, this LAFC team? Utter devastation after such an impressive start to this tournament.
Well, it's a team of destiny that everybody sort of said, well, they could be one of the best ever to do it in MLS. Yes, they can go win Concacaf Champions League, and they can win the double and maybe the triple. Who knows with the quad, with the Open Cup. But, you know, Steve Cherundolo, did such a good job of keeping the group grounded, which is more than certainly why you had so much success. you have to recognize just that carrot that's right in front of you instead of looking way down the tunnel. Keep the tunnel vision instead. And of course, Denny Bwanga and his beautiful performances that led to 7 goals on the tournament, top scorer. Also the opportunity to take home the Fair Play Award. How do they recover now? Still so much to play for domestically within their own league, MLS, chasing a supporters shield. Can they repeat as MLS Cup champions? Only time will tell. This one's gonna leave a scar though.
The young player of the tournament is Fidel Ambriz. Seemingly, Devin, a limitless future.
He's great, and look, you have 10 years, a differentiating number within the midfield of Ambriz and Lucas Romero, and that if you look at the overall performance, you would never know because he was so good, and the young homegrown product, regardless of where you decide to deploy him, and that's going to be the key question moving forward. A team afar, does someone in Europe go and grab him? Does he want to make a move to MLS for big money? I mean, there are a lot of options for this young man, but positionally, he gives you the solitude knowing defensively that you can lock stuff down, but at the same point in time, you can push him forward. He can be pushed all over the field and still find success.
The goalkeeper of the tournament concedes just 6 goals in 8 games with 4 clean sheets. It's John McCarthy of LAFC. The leading scorer, 8 appearances, 7 goals, 3 assists. Denny Bwanga scored late in the first leg, gave hope, but ultimately it's the hope that kills. Denny Bwanga, the Golden Boot.
Now we honor an individual.
The Best Player Award. There are many who could contend for it, but it is Victor Davila who will carry it for Club León.
Presented by Scotiabank. Victor Davila from Club León.
The overall importance to his team, it's hard to really argue. Many will say, how could it not be Denny Bwanga? A friendly reminder, the main trophy sitting in the background is the most important one, and Davila certainly helped his team get there.
The officials make their way to a chorus of boos, and they're not just Angelino's boos. Alas, a thankless job, one that does come with a medal. And for the 2nd year running, Yvonne Barton oversees a leg of the Champions League final in Concacaf. Victor Montagliani among the dignitaries on stage usher the referees to their honor.
And now we honor one of the best teams of the tournament. Please congratulate the 2023 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League runner-up.
The runner-up in Concacaf Champions League in 2023 is LAFC. There is scattered applause here, although many fans have already headed to the exits. What we do know, Devin, about LAFC is that all the ambition that they spoke about from the minute they were granted a franchise in Major League Soccer has perhaps not reached its full peak, but has certainly been on display time and time again. And now 2 finals in 4 years in this competition. They hold 2 trophies in Major League Soccer as well. In just 6 years, they've placed themselves on the precipice of being the best in this region.
Statistically setting records, and you are now the standard, right? Everybody looks at you and comes into this league and thinks, okay, how do we replicate as an expansion team what they did? More importantly, not just replicate, how do we surpass it? And that's pretty impressive that is what they are being held to right now. Because a lot of teams you think, okay, we want to get the culture right, we want to find a way to be aggressive. That's not the case. They're looking at LAFC as the standard bearer within MLS, and that's pretty high company to hold. Even with the changeover, you've had the departure of Bob Bradley, Steve Cherundolo comes in. A lot of the names that we heard in 2020, that we heard at the start of this venture, are now gone. Constance and a Carlos Vela, absolutely. But new faces, Denny Bawanga, youngsters, Kwadwo Opoku, Timmy Tillman coming over from Germany, they add layers to this organization that has continued to not reinvent itself, but re-idolize what they were and can be moving forward.
As many managers do in a moment of despair, medal as quickly as it's laid on, irrevocably taken off. LAFC finished second on their home ground, and now the moment León have been waiting for. They will be crowned. Club León take the stage. Champions League winners, to the uproarious applause of the assembled León faithful, many of whom have moved down to get as close as they can to an achievement that will lead León to the FIFA Club World Cup and see them the envy of all in Concacaf for the year upcoming. What can you say about a franchise that has 78 years of history, had chased this trophy on a number of occasions, had won in their domestic league so often, and had ridden the ups and downs over that 8 decades, just to achieve it with such aplomb here in this final, winning both legs and seemingly in control of both legs for the vast majority.
It's hard as a player, Mike, because the pressure just continues to mount. It gets harder and harder, and you almost feel like it's an insurmountable situation because you've been there so many times before, and yet you find a way to come out on top. I mean, a true testament to Larcamón coming in, and look, domestically, they just weren't getting the job done. It didn't matter that the results were coming within Concacaf Champions League. We mentioned the standard bearers for LAFC within MLS. Same argument for León. They expect to be title holders in every single competition that they're in. And yet a changing of the guard, you maintain uniformity within this competition, you rise up the ranks in the others, and finally, you are able to gain the crown that you've been searching for that entire time. Young or old, new manager or not, they finally reach their desired goal.
The very constitution of that stage will be tested. One can understand the joyous outburst. It's just seconds away. Nicolas Larcamón was the manager that few anticipated would take this role and so quickly lead them to such a massive achievement. He'll be the apple of everybody's eye. For now, he's León's. León could not be happier. A wave from the Argentine manager.
The moment we have all been waiting for has arrived. It is time to present the 2023 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions
The moment
League
has arrived for Club León.
Club León.
8 decades in the making. In many ways, it feels like a story that could only be written and finished in Hollywood. A new star on their crest. Club León, Champions League winners in 2023 in Concacaf.
League winners, Club León.
With glimmering confetti, a shimmering trophy. They'll levitate back to León. And as they watch so many of their contemporaries have this moment, finally León roar the best of Concacaf. arguably the best of social media, by the way, in all of Mexican football, and you can bet they'll bring their absolute best now.
Of our competition sponsors, to our fans watching from home, thank you.
And the celebration is on.
2023 Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League Final. Have a good
22,400 plus assembled for this. And those that remain all hope they can just land one fingerprint on that trophy as they'll circle the venue probably more than once.
Yeah, that's probably being kind. Where it ends up, who gets to take it home first, and one ends up in the middle.
Club León 3-1 on aggregate over LAFC to win the Champions League in Concacaf. A look at the full-time highlights of this second leg between LAFC and León at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. The opening goal came in the 20th minute, and it was Lucas Diorio, the lone change to the starting 11.
There's a question mark coming in. I mentioned to you how he would be that high line of pressure that would hold serve at the top of the attack. But in this instance, he's really smart on the back post run. Little hesitation to the check, and then peels back off, and beautiful vision by Moreno to pick out the trailing run. Multiple options on the back post. Not the greatest of contact, but most importantly, just gets a little bit on it. McCarthy clouded, but 1-0 León.
Club León pull ahead. 2 goals on aggregate, 1 goal on the night. And it would be a 70-minute chase to find out if it would be enough. Diorio's second of the tournament. LAFC on their heels in that first half in a number of ways. That's Davila off target.
They ran into a problem now. Steve Cherundolo decides he wants to change it, right? So he shifts into a back 5. He's trying to counteract what was thrown at him in the first leg. But you lost some of the overall identity of this splendidly attacking team in the final third. And so it's makeshift at best. You go into halftime, said, okay, you got to pull one of your center backs off, get an attacker on the field, you get it. But the looks were half-chance opportunities at best, and usually from distance. This one from Kellen Acosta, referee in the way, that slight little pause. He's working away from it, trying to pick out the far post. But unfortunately, just to the outside, coming too far across the ball.
That just seconds before the halftime whistle, and LAFC would need 2 in the second half. León just 45 minutes or so away from the crown in Champions League. This early in the second half could have been the finisher.
Probably should have been, to be honest. And anytime this ball is coming to the backside, you know there's going to be a redirect in the middle. Now credit to Murillo, who actually is 2v1 on the near post. He pushes that attack away, but he doesn't get any help from Cifuentes. Cifuentes was great coming off the bench, helping usher the attacking movements going forward, but really struggled defensively. This is one of those. The touchback through, Quadwell Poku, just not clean enough in his effort tonight. Showed a lot of intensity, certainly that he had the ability to stretch this game, but that touch, you either have to hit this first time when it comes across your body, or the touch has to be clean in front of you. Instead, notice the rotation on the ball, skips up off the deck, and well read by Cota to come off his line and push the attack aside.
And Steve Cherundolo knew that was one of precious few chances that would remain, as does Quadwell Poku. LAFC would have a flurry of chances down the stretch. This over the top in the dying minutes from Murillo.
Kind of gives you an idea of what everything was not for LAFC this evening. Jesus Murillo, Ryan Hollingshead, can't believe it. Sometimes, you know, at the end of the day, you can change tactics, you can change players. There's just no magic, and that's kind of the way the night went for LAFC.
And León, the magic moment. After 78 years, Nicolas Larcamón leads León to the top of the CONCACAF mountain. Champions League winners in 2023, knocking off LAFC 1-0 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. The trophy will be